Coming up on Fulton Today, the landscape of leadership in Fulton County is changing.
The county's police chief is officially appointed while the county says goodbye to its chief operating officer. I'm Brian Robinson, and I'll have more on that story coming up.
Also, the window to appeal your property assessment is officially open. And some local students take their knowledge of the justice system into the courtroom. I'm Shania Chavis Rucker, and Fulton Today starts right now. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. Well, Fulton County says hello and goodbye to two members of its leadership team. One will lead the county's newly reorganized police department, and the other is heading to work in transportation on a larger scale. FGTV's Brian Robinson joins us now with more on this story. Brian?
Shania, Fulton's once interim chief is now leading the police department. The chief operating officer, who was once his boss, is now leaving.
We talk about options and answer questions one-on-one.
He has been leading the county's effort to transition services to the city of South Fulton.
70% for T-SPLOST, which is a phenomenal level of support, which is great.
And also largely instrumental in Fulton's T-SPLOST initiative. Now Chief Operating Officer Todd Long is leaving Fulton to head back to the industry he most enjoys.
Working on T-SPLOST and the transit tax, that was really right at my alley, and I loved it. And honestly, as I move, to this next job, I'm going to be doing transportation full time.
Long will be working statewide with a private transportation firm, but one that will still collaborate with local governments.
The fact of the matter is, we were hugely fortunate that Todd was leaving GDOT at the time that he was, that he considered coming to Fulton County. What we didn't know was how much he could do beyond transportation.
Fulton commissioners thanked the COO for his time with the county and his huge impact with a proclamation and a day in his honor.
As Todd Long Appreciation Day in Fulton County, Georgia.
And as Todd Long leaves, the county is celebrating that longtime lawman Daryl Hampert is staying. The interim chief is now the official chief of police and now the first in this newly designed police department.
I'm very excited, coming up through the ranks, starting off as a beat cop, moving up from lieutenant to captain and so forth and so on. It's really been exciting. Actually, we still have a traditional role of the police department. First and foremost, responding to 911 calls for service is the primary function of any police department. And we're serving the Fulton industrial area where you have residential capacity of about 600 persons. In addition to that, on a daily basis, there are over approximately 30,000 visitors to that area. So yes, we have the 911 calls for service. We also provide criminal investigations, as well as traffic enforcement and the traditional roles that we had prior to the transition.
Chief Daryl Hampert has been with Fulton County Police since 1993. As for Todd Long, he will leave Fulton County on June 12th, and the county manager says he will look at the government's organizational chart before recruiting to fill those very tough shoes. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Brian Robinson.
Thank you, Brian.
I want to show you maximize use of space over here.
Meanwhile, county leaders toured the South Fulton Service Center. The group wanted to see firsthand the progress being made on the 9,000 square foot renovation project. Now, most of the project includes areas for behavioral health on the building's first floor, as well as more space for elections and meeting rooms. The Department of Real Estate and Asset Management, better known as DREAM, is in charge of these renovations.
This renovation was for behavioral health. It's about 9,000 square feet. Part of it was an office complex for individual services. The other part has 3 meeting rooms with a bonus 4th meeting room and a kitchen.
DREAM is working on other building improvements such as landscaping upgrades, HVAC and restroom upgrades, and other aesthetic upgrades for the South Fulton Service Center.
This is a great project that was pulled off by DREAM. It looks absolutely amazing. I mean, if you could have seen the building before, there were jail cells down here, and as you walk through this building, you would never know that there were jail cells down here. Now it's an excellent state-of-the-art facility for behavioral health individuals.
To learn more about the services being offered at the South Fulton Service Center, just call 404-665-8700. The countdown to appeal your property assessment is underway. Now that the assessment notices have been mailed, the Board of Assessors convened to get an update on the mailings as well as hear how many residents have started this appeal process. Property owners can appeal their assessment notices for one of the following 4 reasons. The value is too high, they think. The value lacks uniformity with neighbors. You don't feel your property is taxable. And you've been denied a homestead exemption. You can file your appeal online, in person, or by mail, as long as you do so by July 6th.
If you think that the values are correct, then we did a good job. If you think they're incorrect, by all means appeal.
To learn more about your tax assessment notice and the different ways you can appeal, log on to fultonassessor.org. Another successful Public Works Week comes to an end. The Department of Public Works, along with the rest of the country, celebrated the week with various events held all around Fulton. After the kickoff celebration, Public Works officials offered guided tours of the county's water treatment plants, as well as hosted exhibits here in the Government Center, highlighting the different departments of Public Works. And of course, it wouldn't be a true Public Works Week celebration without that equipment rodeo. Once again, bragging rights were on the line as teams competed in challenges like the Backhoe Skills Challenge, the Bucket Brigade, and the Mini Excavator Operator Skills Challenge.
It's mind over matter, and then you have to have good hand and eye coordination, because out there in the street you have people working around you, so you have to be extremely safe. You got to be aware of underground utilities, overhead utilities, so you got to be focused at all times, because it's life and death out there.
Public Works Week is a national week of recognition as well as training for all Public Works officials, employees, staff members, to basically bring awareness to what Public Works does to everybody's life every day of the year, but also gives a chance for some of our staff members to get some training time in, as well as we have some events that we actually give back to the community.
This year's Public Works Week's theme, The Power of Public Works, acknowledges the vital contribution Public Works professionals make every day to communities all across the U.S. Here now, one of our favorite stories every year. Did James Sturgis rob Mrs. Jane Brown? Well, a group of 5th graders made their way to the courthouse to argue this case as a part of the Fulton County District Attorney's mock trial competition. FGTV's Felicia Church has more.
We will not have opening statements.
Inside the Fulton County Courthouse, in multiple courtrooms, tomorrow's legal leaders are deciding a very important case.
I saw the man enter the elevator. I entered after him. The doors closed and then started up.
It's the case of the state versus James Sturgis. 5th graders from 14 different Fulton County elementary schools, the largest number to date, take on the roles of attorneys, victims, witnesses, jurors, and judges to argue whether or not James Sturgis robbed Mrs. Jane Brown in the elevator of the building where she lives. It's all part of the District Attorney's Office's annual Legal Lives mock trial competition.
It's a great opportunity because a lot of students will get that exposure to see different career opportunities, whether you want to be a prosecutor or an attorney or a judge or something like that. So that gives them something to look forward to, opposed to being the sports or, the traditional things that students want to do as they grow up.
Now in its 25th year, the Legal Lives mock trial competition was started by District Attorney Paul Howard in 1993 when he was the Solicitor General. Legal Lives is a mentorship program where assistant district attorneys, investigators, victim witness advocates, and administrative assistants team up to volunteer in 5th grade classrooms to teach lessons about law and civics.
So this is a way for
prosecutors, the people in our office, to renew ourselves, to let everybody know that the spirit of positive attitude and effort is still here in our community, and I just wouldn't miss it for the world.
Legal Lives provides past and current students with a real-life experience that teaches them a valuable lesson.
Just kind of give me the mindset of what their job really are, first of all, and it just gave me the experience. You know, we went out of town, we met the president at the time. President Clinton was the president, it was Bill Clinton. We went in the gallery and we met and spent a lot of time with Congressman Lewis, and it kind of gave me the structure.
The most fun part was hanging out with my friends, learning things we never knew before.
I just like telling what James did, and it gives me an experience for when I grow up. It's like a little training for me.
After the verdicts were revealed, everyone gathered in Assembly Hall for an awards ceremony. And later in the summer, the students will take a trip to our nation's capital to tour the White House and meet congressional leaders. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Felicia Church.
Gotta love it. Thanks, Felicia. And still to come on Fulton Today, the final reminder about the competition where young writers can make some money. It's a part of our district-by-district coverage next. Fulton's chairman launches the first in a series of public service announcements aimed at locking up sex traffickers. And another Fulton commissioner hears residents' concerns about Fulton County services. Here's this week's district-by-district coverage. And we begin with this public service announcement that aims to help end human trafficking in Fulton County. Fulton's chairman, Rob Pitts, is leading a public campaign which includes a special task force whose mission is to aggressively tackle the sex trafficking issue head on.
We came around to discussing and deciding that we needed to have some public service announcements fairly quickly.
Narrative Content Group, an Atlanta advertising team, created the PSAs pro bono for the task force. The chairman also intends on the county to enforce existing state law that requires that signage offering help for victims be visible in government facilities and certain business establishments. In District 5, here's that final reminder about the Right to Rise Young Writers Workshop and Competition. Just like last year, the 5-week initiative is open for Fulton County middle school and high school writers. The workshops will include sound advice and instruction from professional authors, writers, and industry professionals.
We want to help our kids write more. We think, one, if they can write better, they'll be able to speak better. We want to get them in the habit of learning to write. And practicing writing. The more you practice, the better you get.
Go to www.w2r.org to register. The workshops are from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. June 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and the 30th at the Wolf Creek Library, and lunch is provided. Space, however, is available for the first 50 students to sign up. And finally, District 6 Commissioner Emma I. Darnell convenes a public hearing on Fulton County services, from human health and environment to senior services and the transition services to the city of South Fulton. Residents were updated and given a chance to ask questions and make comments.
The Fulton County and the new city of South Fulton is a good transition. I just want to make sure we are on the same accord. That was my main concern coming out and talking with her, but she's all been very receptive all the time.
Information is always power. We look forward to doing this every time the commissioner has a quarterly meeting. You can see some things out on the street or in the public that is only one side of the story, and it's always important to get the information from the people who make the decisions and who are responsible for the county itself.
I have heard the most about human health and the environment, senior services, and transition services. The county has almost finished its transition services, but we are responsible until those services have been transmitted to the city. We are responsible.
Commissioner Darnell shared startling facts. She says middle income and upper income African Americans who live within certain census tracts in Fulton County have the highest percentage of deaths by cancer and heart disease in all of Fulton County, according to public health researchers. The commissioner says it's time to move from talk to action to address these disparities. And up next on Fulton Today, a new look for one of the county's oldest and busiest services. Stay with us, everybody. As Georgia's largest county, Fulton has a tremendous responsibility to make sure that all people are healthy. Well, that is one of the strategic priorities for the Board of Commissioners, and to that end, Fulton's Board of Health, with the support of the Commission, have launched a brand new Board of Health website. Here now to tell us all about it is Alicia Cardwell-Alston. She is the District Communications Director for the Board of Health. Alicia, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
All right, a brand new website. Tell us all about it.
Well, we are really excited about our new Fulton County Board of Health website. It's engaging, it has a lot of great resources, and we developed it so that the public and the citizens of Fulton will have more access to all the wonderful services that we have to offer.
And Alicia, why was it important for you to develop this new site?
We developed a new website in line with the new branding campaign that we have, and we wanted it to align with our branding campaign. We wanted people to know more about Board of Health, what we have to offer, especially with our new locations and with us moving here in this new location with our state-of-the-art clinics. We definitely wanted to get that word out and promote it to the public.
And can you tell viewers some of the benefits for residents using this site?
One great benefit of the new website is that for those that do have disabilities, we had in mind putting together a website that they could really access, that they could read the information, that it was engaging and colorful, but also accessible. And so we believe that all of the citizens of Fulton will really enjoy the layout. We want it to be as detailed as possible with the different services that we provide, and hopefully they'll really enjoy it. We'll get some great feedback, and like any website, we're certainly open for any recommendations that the public might have in order to enhance it.
Always great seeing you. Thank you so much for your time, Alicia.
Thank you so much, Shania, for having me. It's been a pleasure as usual.
Now, again, to peruse the new Fulton County Board of Health website, please visit the new URL at fultoncountyboh.org. Meanwhile, Fulton's Board of Health is showing some appreciation to the team that helps to keep the health department going, the nurses, of course. National Nurses Week is observed every May all across the country. The theme this year, Nurses Inspire, Innovate, Influence.
This year we were celebrated by each program submitting questions and trivia questions and answers and prizes throughout the entire health district, and it all came together in a webinar which we watched together and had lunch and celebrated ourselves as registered nurses, advanced practice nurses, and LPNs.
Nurses serve at all 8 of the county's health centers. National Nurses Week coincides each year with Florence Nightingale's birthday. She was an English social reformer and statistician and the founder of modern nursing. All right, here's a story I know that some of you have been waiting to hear. Fulton's Fresh Farmers Market has released the 2018 schedule. As in years past, Fulton's cooperative extension agents are providing fresh fruit and vegetables to Fulton County residents every other week starting in June. Now, the mobile market will provide attendees with a 45-minute SNAP-Ed nutrition education lesson and food demonstration. And afterwards, they will be able to visit the mobile market truck and receive a bag of free in-season produce to take home.
And it was designed to address health disparities in the county, to provide fresh produce, fresh quality produce to citizens living in areas that have been identified as food deserts. And food deserts are large geographic areas that have a lack of grocery stores, mainstream grocery stores, or have a scarcity of grocery stores.
Here is that schedule for the market on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If you have any questions, you can call Vaughn Baker at 404-762-4077, or you can just email her. And up next on Fulton Today, they are breaking records at the library. We'll tell you what it's all about when we come back.
As Fulton County Parks and Recreation Appreciation Day in Fulton County, Georgia. Let's hear it for them.
Fulton commissioners say farewell to their employees in the Parks and Recreation Department and proclaim a day in their honor. This week marks the first full week that the department transitions its services to the city of South Fulton.
Our mission remains the same as the department will continue to serve children and families and neighborhoods and communities. We've done so over the years from everywhere from Sandy Springs today to now the new city of South Fulton. So we look forward to what lays ahead for us, but we're certainly appreciative of the last 46 years.
Since 1972, Parks and Recreation has provided multiple programs to Fulton County residents, young and old. The department has also maintained nearly 700 acres of parkland, like tennis courts, gymnasiums, and other recreational facilities. The department is now officially in the city of South Fulton, and next week the department is hosting a few parent information meetings on June 4th, 5th, and 7th. You can call 404-612-PARK for more information. That's 404-612-7275. And finally, the Atlanta Fulton Public Library system hits a record-breaking number. For the 10th year in a row, volunteer services exceeded the $1 million mark in value for service. Last year alone saw over 2,500 volunteers donate nearly 63,000 hours. Those efforts are valued at over $1.5 million in donated services. That, of course, is a savings for taxpayers.
The importance of our volunteers is supporting our staff every single day, making sure that we can serve all of our patrons that come into the library. We could not do what we do without our volunteer support. Our volunteer is there to give staff appreciation, to help us with summer reading programs, to help fundraise for the library. We work with 50% of our volunteers are teens, so they're giving back to the community, learning more about our resources, telling us what they want to see in the library. So we are incredibly in debt to all of our volunteers who serve.
Library volunteers help the library throughout the year by shelving materials and teaching various classes, as well as by serving as clerical assistants, children's programs assistants, tax aides, and special event hosts, and of course, much more.
I liked being around books, but I also like giving back to the community. I always felt that libraries had an important place in communities. It's where kids can go to get after school help. It's where they can go to get on computers, where they can go to do their homework, stuff like that.
I volunteer because I like to help people. I like to get involved with what they're interested in, and I just enjoy being around people.
If you are interested in volunteering with the Atlanta Fulton Public Library System, just log on to afpls.org to find out how. Kudos to all the volunteers. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to connect with you online. Be sure to follow FGTV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for up-to-date Fulton County news. And you can watch a replay of this show and any other FGTV program anytime on our YouTube channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.